Good evening, graduates. May we please have your attention? We're going to show you how you're going to walk when you get up on stage. Unisa staff is going to usher you to come stand here. And please, you must only bring one thing on stage, which is your white name sitting card. Only. Leave your bags on your seats. Then you're going to ask to come here, stand here. There's a sign that says graduate stand here. Please stand here. Face in that direction. Take off your mask. And please, do not look at the person that's calling your name. Look in that direction with a smile. That's a first photograph on stage. A photographer will be waving. Please don't wave back. He's just trying to get your attention. After that, you put back your mask, put your mask back on, and then you're going to be given your name. You're going to make your way to the center of the stage. A vice chancellor will be sitting on that chair. There's a little stool there. Please kneel, do not sit. A vice chancellor will confer your degree. After that, you make your way to the end of the stage. There's a little box there. There'll be a registrar standing on top of that box. Stand in front of the registrar. Take off your mask. Now you face again on that second umbrella and smile. When your photo has been captured, when you make your way down the stairs, ladies with heels, please be careful going down the stairs. There's a sanitizer there. You're going to sanitize your hands. Make your way to the blue screen at the far end corner there. That's where you're going to take your third photo to complete all your stage photos. After that, you're going to put your mask back on, make your way back to your seats. And if there's any diploma graduates here, you're also going to do the same thing, but now we're not going to kneel before the Vice Chancellor. We're going to walk straight to the end of the stage. That's where you're going to also stand, do the same thing that others will be doing. For those that didn't order their photos and you still wish to do so, please come see us after the graduation in this hall, behind here, that side. And then for those graduates who are interested in MBA and MBL degree programs, should see Aubrey from Unisa Graduate School of Business Leadership. He's going to be seated there at the back. If you wish to see him, please go see him there. Thank you.
Sanibona ngaphakathi. Bengisacela ubhuti odriver iBMW JK97 FM GP ayongivalela iwindi lemoto yakhe lishiye livulile ngaphandle.
By virtue of the power vested in me as Vice Chancellor, I constitute this gathering a congregation of the University of South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, we request you to join us in silent prayer meditation to give thanks for the achievements being celebrated on this occasion. Thank you. We may be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Oh, there is dead silence. You are unfortunate, I must say, because until such time that you respond, I will not be proceeding. I will simply just continue greeting you until I get a response. Yes, that's exactly what I want to hear. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you so much. This is an exciting moment. Let's remember that we are all here for a celebration. That is what graduations are all about. So I just want to remind all of us that that is what brings us here. It is for that reason why I want to make sure that all of us understand that you are going to be expected to participate actively at your own graduation ceremony, because this is your night. So before I can proceed with my opening remarks, let me just greet the members of the university community who are participating in this graduation ceremony with me. In my case, as a principal and vice chancellor, I'm accompanied by Mrs. P.J. Mieza, who is the regional director of Unisa KwaZulu-Natal region, but she's here serving in that purpose of being acting registrar. And representing our colleges, we have Professor K.M. Masimula, who is the executive dean of the college, accompanied by Professor M.J. Madise, who is a director of the school within the college. Now, representing the College of Education, we have Professor P.R. Machaisa, who's the chair of Department of Educational Leadership and Management, together with Professor Ntombela, who is the director of the school in education. And representing the college, of Economic and Management Sciences, but also doubling up to represent the College of Accounting Sciences, we have Professor Thabani Mpofu. Let me also welcome our colleague, Dr. Unisa, who is the Regional Academic Director of our region here in KwaZulu-Natal. Let me welcome spouses and partners of all our office bearers who are with us here this evening. That's inclusive of Mrs. Makanyo. I also want to welcome the members of our administrative sections of the university. That is inclusive of the Graduations Division, Department of Facilities Management, and our entire staff complement from KwaZulu-Natal region. Let me also at this point welcome all of you as our graduandi and diplomandi. You are indeed our very important guests this evening. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here this evening to receive your qualifications in person, as it were. I just want to say quickly for all of us that we know what has hit us during the course of this year, that with a pandemic that was hovering around in the horizon towards the end of last year, as we began to hear about the threat that was about to engulf the world, it never crossed anyone's mind that at some point we are going to be paying the price, as it were, in the direct sense of the word. While we thought that it was hitting the eastern parts of the world, before we knew it, it was already within our shores. And as you'll recall, that since it hit our country, that we went into lockdown from March of this year. And of course, many activities grounded to a halt, to a point where even our economic activities grounded to a halt. A number of organizations have basically failed to proceed with the work that they were doing. And similarly, we've seen a situation where not only just the economy is collapsing, but of course the challenges associated with that, which are socio-economic related. And we've consistently been then saying, living under this threatening environment cannot give us any peace at any point in time. This happened at the time when, as a university, we're up and about, with our graduation ceremonies, and we had to suspend all of them. And unfortunately, all the March graduation ceremonies that had been suspended, we eventually saw it fit that we had to accommodate our students via that virtual graduation ceremony that we rolled out for them. When it happened that there was an announcement of easing these lockdown conditions and we were moving into level 1, it became clear to all of us that as a university, it would be necessary for us to offer the opportunity to our students so that you can then graduate in presentia, as it were, because we appreciate the fact that you've worked hard for your qualifications. That's partly the reason why then we are gathered in this fashion. So I just want to reassure all of you that as a university, we are excited about the work that you've managed to do that has brought you over where you are right now. And we just want to say that as you qualify today, you must be very excited, because the members of our families are also going to be as excited as we are. I just want to invite all of us that we are going to be reaching a point during the graduation ceremony where our names are going to be presented by the executive deans and the senior officials of the university. And as and when that is happening, I want to invite all of you that when you get here, when your name is being presented, please, as you stand, just facing the direction of our photographers so that they can be in a position to take your photographs. And as when you do that, I saw that our photographer here has done an excellent job to remind you that you need to smile so that we can then get a good glimpse of you to be captured in that photograph. I'll be sitting over there representing the Chancellor of the university. That's where, if you're receiving your degree will be awarded in a formal sense of the word. So that's the task that I have for the night. And I want to remind all of you that when then you reach that point, please remember to kneel, which is an important part. It's a symbolic act, by the way, from your side, that will simply be symbolizing that you are humbling yourself at the point at which you will be lifting you up as a university by the mere award of your degree. And as you rise from there, you walk directly to Mrs. Mieza, acting registrar, who will then be congratulating you on the work well done. You know that what is obviously going to be appearing to be strange with our graduation ceremonies is that this time around, we are not going to be receiving your certificates soon after graduating, because we've decided to courier your certificates to yourselves in order, of course, also to protect you, so that you can be safeguarded, from this virus, this clear understanding that no one knows, where it is, at what point do one contract it, and so on. So, which is partly the reason why then we need to be very careful, be protected, be safe all the time, in order for us to ensure that we can continue living and making a contribution in our own societies. Right, as a University of South Africa, I want to tell you why we are excited to have graduation ceremonies. It's partly as a result of the fact that we are an open distance and e-learning institution with the transition that we've made since 2015 onwards, along the lines of our 2030 agenda or strategy, that simply says that that transition is going to be marked by venturing in a big way into innovation and thus the employment of technology in the manner in which we do our work. Of course, it's got its own challenges that one needs to be cognizant of in order to make a success of the work that we do. What I want to talk about with you at this point in time is simply just this one, that has to do with the regulatory environment. You know that as higher education, our success is dependent on us ensuring that we meet those regulatory requirements in order for us to have the qualifications that are recognized, but qualifications that are accredited, qualifications that obviously are going to be recognized not just within the country but also elsewhere, because as a graduate you basically have to be recognized wherever you are. Now, in terms then of this regulatory environment, I want to say that there are many changes that are consistently taking place in that space, and we have to keep abreast of those particular changes. But I want to say that it's one of the biggest headaches, that we have, because as we all know, that the regulatory environment is often a laggard. And as higher education institutions, we have to consistently struggle to overcome legal or policy impediments that might be on our way, so that we don't work in the context of that which is outdated, but venture into the space that requires us to be in line with the developments that are taking place. We are also exposed. You will actually be aware of the recent legislation around POPI, which is the Protection of Personal Information Act, which means that as a university, regardless of us being an open distance and e-learning institution, your data, for instance, is supposed to be protected to a point where no one should be allowed to steal it. You will recall that if that happens, we shall have actually then been guilty of undermining that particular legislation. So it's a tricky one, because it means that over and above the investments, we also need to guard against these sharks that are operating in that space in order for us to ensure that we don't compromise ourselves in the process. And we also are sitting in a situation where within our own environment, as a University of South Africa, we have students from virtually everywhere, both in this country, across the continent, and elsewhere in the world. So which means that when you talk about the data, clearly the sharks are looking at us as being a good platform from which they can launch themselves into the environment as big business people after that particular theft. So that is why the work that we have to do in protecting our institution and yourselves in the process is a critical one. And the resources that we have, remember, we are managing and administering a public institution. We're a publicly funded higher education institution. So in that case, it means that we are stewards of the resources that we've been entrusted with. So which means that each and every one of us, as you see us working and standing here, that is primarily what our role is. At no point should we be found to be in a position where we dip into those resources and thinking that they belong to us in whatever manner, because that will actually create a huge crisis. And we need to understand that we are working within the environment where we are subsidized by the state. In that context, although we might be thinking that accessing higher education might be within reach, unfortunately, that is not the case. There are so many challenges that are associated with that. And from our side, as a university, there are so many things that we've been exploring, starting from what we offered some few years ago, the digibands, where we stored your information on those digibands in order for you to be in a position to acquit yourself in a manner where you can make a success of your own studies. Hence the signature modules that we introduced. There's a trick behind it, because what it does is that it completes the picture of the work that we have to do. And it's our hope that you are now at a point where we can say you have the comfort of venturing into the space, being a qualified graduate, with that comfort that you have, that which you deserve. At that stage, by the way, as we're venturing into this space, we're still operating in the space where there was low digital fluency in the environment. That was almost half a decade ago. What we do know from what has happened in the recent past is that the developments within the environment of technology has actually moved at a fast pace to a point where we are now in a situation where we can simply just offer everything else almost virtually without any struggle in between, which is partly explaining why you've also been in a position to write your exams in a manner in which you did. So we view that as one of the milestones that we can simply just put in our own pockets to say it has assisted us to make the kind of progress that we've made. So I just want to say, after all those few remarks, that please remember, we all understand that when you're going to graduate, you are gripped with huge levels of anxiety. So because of that, we will obviously not be expecting you not to have that kind of fear that is going to somehow be of a slight disturbance when you get here, particularly when you stand here. And I just want to reassure you that please don't allow that anxiety to get hold of you to a point where you can even miss the opportunities of enjoying your qualification. So after your name has been presented, just walk briskly here, because it's your qualification. You've earned it, so it's yours. No one can take it away from you. And as you head to Mrs. Mieza, please ensure that much as you shall have taken the photograph here, that you'll be taking another photograph when you get there where she will be. So I just want to request you to make sure that at that point, you will still be remembering that your eyes must be kept open, so that the photograph must have somehow the resemblance that is closer to you than any other, so that you don't actually deny that such a photograph belongs to you. So all that remains then from my side is to say that let's remember we are here for something that is much bigger than we care to know. There's a space of exuberance, and all of us should just be gripped with that joy, so that by the time we leave, we must know that we've enjoyed ourselves thoroughly. That is going to also satisfy the members of our own families, because that's the list that they're looking up to for the night. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me request you once again that please let us enjoy ourselves during this graduation ceremony. Thank you so much. By the powers entrusted to me, I shall now proceed to confer the degrees and diplomas of the university on candidates whose names appear in the program, and I request our executive deans and our senior officials at the university to present the candidates to me.
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, it gives me pleasure to introduce you candidates for the BCom Honours degree. Melissa Jean Moy. Sabelo Olani Dludla. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, Primrose Makosazana Zungu obtains the degree Bachelor of Administration Honours.
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, the following candidates receive the degree of Honours Bachelor of Education. Bongiswa Malamba. Tamsanga Muzwakhe Xulu. Ususi mask Tamsanga. Hlengiwe Penelope Nene. Here. Graduates, there is a red spot here where you're supposed to stand and face the camera as the principal was saying. Please remember, you stand on the red spot, not anywhere else. Thank you. Charity Sindisiwe Mbata. Zamoguhle Delphia Zulu. Tuletu Nomkhruqa. Akalphethe iphepha. Khumula mask and face. Standiwe Mzobe. Sibongile Centricia Ntumba. Sanelisiwe Nzimande. Margaret Nompumelelo Makhanya. Domfikile Brightness Ngobo. Nozipho Princess Makhanya. Hamba sis. Nozipho, proceed. Nozipho. Happiness Spesihle Smelane. Slindile Precious Nene. Tabisile Beauty Mkhize. Prudence Cele. Nelisiwe Lindy Yvonne Buthelezi. Eugenia Ntombizodwa Ndaba. Smangele Brilliant Mahlaba. Lungile Revival Kuma. Christina Vadivelu. Don't put it on. Yanita Naika. Marcia Tembagazi Mkwanazi. Nerisha Devi Francis. Zagiti Lirato Mbanza. Zandile Princess Vilagaz. Emerentia Nonhlanhla Malevu. Veronica Ntombinkulu Mkhize. Joyful Ntokozo Makhanya. Tapsile Daphne Hlatshwayo. Zibuyile Agatha Nxumalo. Veronica Tobeka Mfukuli. Hlengiwe Pensius Ntumba. Nokubonga Purity Sosibo. Nomthunzi Veronica Hlalukana. Mthokozisi Godliff Jali. Thembekile Mildred Ngubo. Mbali Silindile Vilakazi. Sibonelwe Sihle Nhlonipho Duma. Priscilla Ruth Bongiwe Maduna. Ntombi yenkosi Zibuyisile Ntuli. Nokwazi Nontobeko Mthombeni. Mr. Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Education. Mandla Ntuli. Ray N. Govender. Kosingphile Lydia Mkhize. Amisha Hagun. Phumzile Portia Mdunjana. Nazifa Abdul Aziz. Majida Ismail. Samantha Morgan. Nadine Nicole Ne. Shelley Kim Rooks. Mvuselelo Innocent Dlamini. Sindisiwe Precious Mkhunu. Andile Felicia Msimango. Lungisani Sanele Ngubane. Thandeka Nontsikelelo Mthimkhulu. Nompilo Phiwile Mthembu. Silindile Gloria Mkhize. Love Nature Kabisile Tsotetsi. Zahira Ismail Nakuda. Nondumiso Zulu. Nompumelelo Ndiyaza. Nkosi Londiwe Gumede. Dumile Sithabi Mtshali. Babhekile Xolile Tsabetse. Sthembelo Princess Nokuthula Ndawonde. Ntethelelo Sibonga konke Nhleko. Mavis Thandekile Mnguni. Phiwile Precious Mthembu. Rida Ahmed. Slungile Precious Ngongo. Nozipho Atroda Kumbisa. Nokubonga Tshezi. Simphiwe Prudence Ndlovu. Silindele Langelihle Mazibuko. Mandisa Mbalenhle Sharon Mkhize. Senamile Siphelele Ndlangamandla. Silindile Nongeba Queenet Dlamini. Nosipho Smangele Zondi. Philisiwe Nobuhle Mkhize. Nhlanhlo Fortune Zondi. Sfiso Duncan Mthembu. Prathna Singh. Mlungisi Mathenjo. Nelisiwe Lethiwe Ncube. Revival Ntombifuthi Mnguni. Nozipho Faith Judith Mkhwanazi. Pinky Agrinet Mpisi. Andile Zanele Mthombeni. Bongeka Faith Mchunu. Lungani Israel Dlamini. Michelle Louise Ford. Nerisa Babitseng Ntilane. Noluthando Noxolo Nzuza. Samgelisiwe Khumalo. Thobile Fanele Sibonge Ncube. Ngobani Mwandla. Sithembile Siphila Ngenkosi Thusi. Londiwe Mashaba. Nokukhanya Thobile Mvelase. Nonhlanhla Mazibuko. Nomathemba Wendi Sithole. Simera Gounden. Nonjabulo Sindisiwe Khumalo. Tobile Charity Hlophe. Nokukhanya Jabulile Gqirha. Tanaya Singh. Siyabonga Hlelo Myeni. Bongekile Makhosi Muthwa. Balisa Patricia Kalapa. Noluvuyo Jojo. Cynthia Lavlon Shelembe. Phumelele Zwile Mhlongo. Ngobile Penelope Tabete. Nonhlanhla Zanele Angelica Ndebele.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receive the degree of Bachelor of Social Work. Nontokozo Samsile Priscilla Maphumulo. Bongagile Precious Ciliza. Maureen Nelsile Pewa. Hlengiwe Maureen Njapa. Busisiwe Monica Nsimande. Okay. Rose Nobuhle Njilo. Okay. Okay. Mr. Vice Chancellor, the following candidates receive the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Spesihle Broughton Bai. Innocent Sibonelo Hlophe. Samgelisiwe Busiswa Nkosi. Thokozani Nkosinathi Shamas.
Mr. Vice-Chancellor, the diploma candidate will be introduced to you. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, Lindobuhle Ngcamu receives the national diploma offered in the College of Economic and Management Sciences.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, may we please give another round of applause to our graduates, please. Thank you very much. We are so excited at having all of you with us here this evening. And it is also exciting for us to be in your midst because we know what it has meant for you to do the work that you've done during the time when you enrolled with the university and the years that you've spent pursuing your qualifications. So, ladies and gentlemen, family, guardians and friends of our graduates, and most importantly, yourselves as our graduates this evening, it is my pleasure and honor to congratulate you on achieving this wonderful milestone in your lives. I also want at this point to wish our own lecturers and all our teaching staff, members of the university, inclusive of supervisors, who are part and parcel of this academic procession, because of the work that they have done in co-creating knowledge and learning in this increasingly precarious world. Graduations are a time of celebration. They are a time when we enjoy an immense sense of satisfaction on the job completed and obviously a job well done. They are a time when people such as ourselves are tasked to congratulate you and share profound words of wisdom and exhortation that will take with you when you leave this hall this evening, and that will hopefully remember as you continue on your life's journey, which I trust will include lifelong learning. However, we should not forget that as you are gathered here, all of you, without any doubt, have this intellectual ability And the intellectual ability is a gift that all of us have. To your credit, you've honored and will continue to honor that gift by testing it, by growing it, by challenging it to its limits. But I would also like to say this to you this evening, that our graduates, please remember that being intelligent is easy because it is a gift. All the rest in life is a choice. The manner in which you conduct yourselves, your kindness or your cruelty, your humility or egoism, your ethics or lack thereof, your incorruptibility or corruptibility, particularly in the society in which we live at this day and age, your contribution to society or your destruction of your own society, your example in life or your lack or its lack thereof, and most importantly, your proud or shameful legacy to your children and your family. All these are a matter of choice. We decide that we want to descend to the lowest levels in life instead of choosing the right pathway that can take us into the bright future. We choose to be corrupt, we choose to steal, we choose to destroy. And I can guarantee you that everyone else who's involved in that do not do so because someone else coerced them to do that. They do it because they choose to do it. But in the process, they destroy themselves. Not only themselves as individuals, but everyone else around them. So if it's a husband, the spouse directly gets affected. Similarly, if it's a father, the children get affected. In any event, you find that everyone else around you gets affected in a direct sense of the word. So that's where the shameful legacy then comes in. But I want to say that all these are choices that we make in life. And we must remember that we will stand and fall by the choices that we make, and not necessarily by the cleverness that we have. Because even though your intellect has been a free gift, we have people in life that abuse that. We have people in life that manipulate others and seduce them into believing that somehow they are entitled to act in their own ways that will obviously be detrimental to the choices with which they will be faced. Now, I want to say to you that the next phase in your life's journey will not be based on what you already know, but on what you are prepared to do with the knowledge that you've acquired, but simultaneously what you are prepared to do as and when you leave this place. Hence, my clear plea to all of you that consider being lifelong learners. The world in which we live changes rapidly, and for that reason, whatever knowledge and skills that we acquire at any given point in time soon fall to disuse, which partly explains that we have to ensure that on an ongoing basis, we have to ensure that we do keep abreast with the changes that are happening around us. So as Unisa graduates, you've joined the ranks of the brightest and best in this country, in this region, on the continent, and the world over. Well done. Savor your success and allow it to foster in you the desire and confidence to say, I want more and I can achieve more. We as parents, spouses, family, academic staff, extend our congratulations to all of you as our graduates of the University of South Africa. As graduates, you are now part and parcel of your alma mater. And I want to invite all of you that as ambassadors of this august university, it is incumbent upon you to acquit yourselves in a manner befitting the stature of the university. And I would also like to invite you to participate actively in all the activities of the university be an active part of the alumni. We have alumni chapters virtually in every city. So which means that you can't say that wherever I live, I will not know where to go and what to participate in. Those opportunities are readily available to you. I just want to thank our families, friends, and guardians who stood by our graduates and supported them in their journeys. I need to acknowledge all of them at this point. I know that I'm speaking particularly of families because many of us will not make it unless if we get that particular support from the members of our families. Many of us do confess that if it was not for the support from the members of our families, we would not have made it. We will have failed dismally. But because of our families around us, we find ourselves where we are right now. And for that reason, we need to acknowledge them and be grateful that we have families around us. Their support has contributed in a tangible way to the progress and well-being of families in this country and everywhere else on the continent. I want to remind all of us that having a family is one of the best things that you can ever look up to. Without a family, there is something that will be lacking that will, of course, work against whatever dreams that you intend pursuing. But with family around you, you are consistently going to be getting the necessary support that will take you into the future that you desire. I also want to mention that, by the way, we have graduated. We deserve to celebrate beyond what has happened in this hall. So as we go back to our respective homes, let's continue with those celebrations, but let's do that within limits, so that even if our family members want to entertain us, please let's guard against a situation where we can be in a crowded space, because our health takes priority. Our desire is that all of you must be safe and healthy, so that you can make a contribution in society. We are living in times when the threats of a pandemic such as the one that we have at this point in time is such that as it has collapsed our economy, the recovery of economy then becomes a priority. And we say our graduates are the ones that we rely on mainly to assist in ensuring that we can recover all that is lost. So we want you then to ensure that you are safe so that you can make that kind of a necessary contribution. And I also want to say thank you very much for having chosen Unisa as your university of choice. We say without fail that this is a university of the people, for the people, because of what it has succeeded to do over the years. With over a century and almost half that it has existed, it has consistently awarded degrees and diplomas and has seen many people succeeding in life. The very first degree was awarded in 1879. So you can imagine how long the university has been offering these degrees since 1873, and you happen to be counted amongst them. So you must count yourself as being one of the best that has come across the opportunities that the university has on offer. And I want at this point to thank the members of our university community who are participating in this graduation ceremony tonight. Besides the ones that are accompanying me here, our own administrative staff that identified earlier. I know that it's hard work. I know that they will acquit themselves in a manner that will make all of us to be excited as a university. They've been going on with this work on a day-to-day basis since the 1st of December. You can imagine what this has meant doing these graduation ceremonies. We were doing 4 per day in Pretoria, right up to a Saturday. And then from there, headed to Cape Town just for a few days. And they are going to be here for this week because of the numbers that we also have in this region. So they can ill afford to stay for a few days as they did in Cape Town. So we know that it takes a toll on them, but I'm excited about that they continue doing the right thing. All that we do is for the benefit of our students. And in my case, I just joined them briefly because unfortunately time doesn't permit. So I'll have to leave immediately after this graduation ceremony. And it's not only just leaving for now, but leaving back to the office, but leaving once again in the sense that I'll be retiring in the next few days. But I just want to invite all of you as our graduates that your retirement is far from you. We are still looking forward to a lot that you must contribute in society. So that is why I asked you to consider being lifelong learners. The university will always be there for you. Don't disappear now that you have this qualification. Come back, enroll for another qualification. Our team is there to provide the necessary support. You can become what you want to be. This is basically what life is all about. That's why I'm talking about choices. And I want to leave that as a challenge to all of us so that we can do the right things in life. With these few words, I want to say once again, congratulations, graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, after this announcement, I would like to request all of you to stand for the singing of the national anthem. I will request that as soon as we've sung the national anthem, that all of us should remain standing to enable me to dissolve the congregation. But similarly, I will also be requesting you to remain standing to allow the academic procession to leave the hall. Shall we stand for the singing of the national anthem? By virtue of the powers entrusted to me as Vice Chancellor, I dissolve this congregation of the University of South Africa.